Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Classic Comics. So, the state of modern comics is pretty pathetic, but the comic book medium isn't completely finished yet. Occasionally, something good or even great comes down the pike, and that's what I'm reviewing today. So, this is Fantastic Four Full Circle by Alex Ross. And just to skip to the end, this is one of the best comics to be published in years. So Alex Ross made his reputation with the series Marvels back in the mid-90s, as well as Kingdom Come. His style of painting and giving a more realistic look to the characters was revolutionary at the time. Now, for the last few years, he's mostly been doing covers for Marvel, but now he's done a new project for which he does the interior art and does the writing. And this is just an obvious love letter to Jack Kirby, as Ross emulates Kirby's artistic style throughout this comic. This isn't painted the way we're used to seeing from Ross. I assume that this is all digital coloring. First, there's this eye-catching cover, right? And it's a gatefold cover. Well, first you've got this inset illustration here. And then you've got this gatefold cover, right? So you've got the cover and then it folds out to this. This is very reminiscent of those oversized Treasury Edition comics that Ross made at DC back in the late 90s. They would begin with a quick recap of the origin of Superman or Batman or whoever. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire story here. I don't want to give it all away, but I will just kind of touch on some of the highlights. So we start with Ben, and Ben is getting a late night snack. Then he's interrupted by Johnny, but then they notice an intruder. And they capture this intruder, and it winds up being someone that they recognize. And this is the cool thing here. So this guy here, he appeared in Fantastic Four number 50 and 51. And in that story, he impersonated Ben. Now, they're studying his body, and when his body sort of bursts open, and you've got all these alien creatures, that kind of burst out of it. Fantastic Four 50 and 51 was also the first story that had the negative zone in it. So Reed decides that they have to return to the negative zone to find the answer to why this guy has appeared in their headquarters. And, I mean, just look at these panel arrangements. I mean, especially here. I mean, look at this page. This is fantastic. No pun intended. But when was the last time you saw a page that was this colorful, this dynamic, this dramatic in a Marvel comic? Most of the time you're getting crap, and it's not even close to this. This is an artist who is a master of the medium, and he's at the height of his ability here. How many creators today give even half of this much effort when they produce a comic? For most of them, comics are just to mark time until they can sell a story to Netflix. I mean, does this look like the work of someone who's just marking time and who isn't invested? I mean, look at this. This is fantastic. So we've got Annihilus here in the foreground, and he's eating dinner, eating a bunch of bugs, and then you've got them invisible in the background sneaking too. I mean, look at the color in this. It's just so friggin' gorgeous. So, the colors are so lush and so vibrant. And then, there was this. I mean, this is where the Kirby influence really shows through, when he's emulating Kirby's depiction of the neutral zone. And I'm wondering if this was all done digitally, or if this is something that Ross drew first. And so it turns out that they arrived in the lair of Annihilus. I don't see how you can be a comic book fan and not love this. I mean, this is just so great. Now, Reed has a tracking device, and that's leading them away from Nihilus to another chamber where they're attacked by more alien creatures. And again, we got a beautiful kind of 2-page layout here. And this alien creature subdues them, and they awaken, and they've been captured by this being. And it turns out this being is Janus, the Negative Man, who was a villain in a story back in Fantastic Four 107. And again, we just get some gorgeous panels here. And I don't want to give away the whole story, but the battle with Janus is really just kind of part of it. They eventually escape him, and then and again, I mean, look at this panel. This is fantastic. And they find a negative version of Earth. Now, they have a way to get back to our world, but Reed, he's Reed, so he's determined to check out this negative Earth. He wants to go investigate it. And the others are like, yeah, why don't we just get out of here? But they wind up agreeing, and they go to this negative Earth. And again, I won't get into the details, but they encounter some other characters here. And again, these characters sort of link back to stories that were in the Fantastic Four back in the Silver Age. They wind up helping the people who live on this negative Earth, and they in turn assist the Fantastic Four in getting home. And the interesting thing while reading this, it was just I just remember thinking, it's so refreshing just to read a comic where the characters act like adults and they speak like adults and not like snarky brats. And they wind up making peace and working together. And it's not about the hero trying to shame somebody as a bigot or a misogynist or whatever, or because they're not using the right pronouns. And then there's another great 2-page spread here. So yeah, this is just a gorgeous comic visually. If you're a fan of this medium, I can't recommend Full Circle enough. This may be the last Gasp that we get from Marvel, but at least we did get it. Now, to be fair, the plot isn't anything dazzling, really. When it was over, I was kind of like, okay, well, it would have been nice if the plot had maybe equaled the art in its brilliance. But on the other hand, sometimes maybe simple storytelling is better. And Ross clearly knows his stuff. And again, he links this to a couple of stories that came out back in around 1970. So yeah, if you can, pick it up. You can get it online if you're not near a comic shop. Barnes & Noble probably has it, for example. And if you do, let me know what you think of Full Circle in the comments. And please do like this video before you leave and hit the bell. And also please do share this video if you would as well. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.